talking about visualization. It has more visuals than Excel. It has more interaction with its visuals. We are going to see that during this course. Also, another thing is Power BI enables collaborative work. You can be working now as a team with someone far away from you, and you guys can work simultaneously. You can't do that with Excel. So these are like what distinct them. So it doesn't look like I'm being partial with Power BI. Let me go, because Excel does have some things that Power BI too does not really do that to that extent. One of them is complex calculations. You can actually perform a lot of complex calculations using Excel. You cannot really do that with Power BI. And talking about reports, if you need to create tabular reports, I think Excel is your go-to guy. And like I mentioned earlier, for general analytics, Excel is also your go-to. So the bone of contention here is not a comparison. I think if you have any interest in data analytics career, especially business intelligence, I would advise that you adapt these two packages. That's where I'm actually headed, because they really go hand in hand. Sometimes you can find yourself you need to work on complex calculations. You move over to Excel. By the time you are done, you take it over to Power BI for visualization. That's the way to get an optimized usage of these tools. So don't zero your mind that I want to just go on Excel, Power BI. No, I don't need Excel. No, or I just want to go on Excel. I don't need Power BI. These are tools that you need to know and understand that they can complement each other for improved efficiency. So having said that, we just quickly run through the what the course structure looks like over the course of this training. Not today, necessarily today. What are the things that we are going to be looking at? And one of them is we are going to be introducing ourselves to Power BI, desktop, and service. Okay, let me just quickly mention that. One thing again that distinct that one of the categories, or let me say one of those things for Power BI is the fact that it has a cloud-based it is cloud-based, and it is also local-based. What do I mean by this? You can have Power BI. There's a package called Power BI Desktop, which you'll be using today. You can have that downloaded on your computer, so you can work locally. And there is another one called Power BI Service. So that Power BI Service is the one that allows collaborative cooperation with your team members, because all what you are doing will be web-based. You'll be working on the website. The Power BI will be on you are working on your Chrome and all of that. So that's Power BI Service. We'll talk a bit further as we go on with the course. So we are also going to be looking at how to connect and shape data in Power BI. We are going to be creating data models. We are going to be working on DAX. DAX is data analysis expressions. This is more like the language used in Power BI. We also have them. Okay, I will come to that. Then we are also going to be visualizing data with reports, and also be taking one project, or depending on how time permits us to. So let me now come again to my Excel Power BI comparison, because I think it's really important, so you don't get confused along the line, or you don't. It's something that you always see all this information, and so it's important to know what it means. So in Excel, we actually have some packages in Excel. For those of us who probably know how to use Excel very well, when you go to the developers tab in Excel, you are able to access some resources. They call them the Power Excel. So when you look at this Power Excel, basically they try to make all of these things do what Power BI can do. But of course, you cannot do everything. So that's what the word power comes from. So Power Excel, when you have Power Excel on your Excel, it gives your Excel an higher dimension, something close to Power BI. That's where you can have stuff like Power Query. You can have stuff like data modeling, even in Excel. So, but this is not an Excel course. I'm just opening your mind to that in Excel you can also improve the way your Excel works, and you can always check that out. Okay, so having said that, I've also explained why Power BI connecting to millions of rows. You can also do complex calculations there as well using DAX that I mentioned earlier. You can visualize, and it's also the leading tool when it comes to BI in the world right now. There's no doubt about that. Power BI is #1 up there. I think followed by Tableau and all of that. Then it is also free to use, except for the Power BI service. For the Power BI service, you will need to register for that. You need to pay for that, and the way it works is they expect that these tools are used by your company or a business. So you can only register with a business email. By business email, I mean not your at gmail.com, at yahoo.com, but like a work email. You need to register with that and also buy the software for use. There's a I think 60-day trial when you go on Power Service for the first time. So after that 60 days, you need to buy. But Power BI Desktop, which you'll be using today, is absolutely free because you only need to just download it on your computer. So that takes us to the first phase of today's class, which is downloading and installing Power BI Desktop. So don't forget, we are working on Power BI Desktop, not Power BI Service. So how many of us have downloaded Power BI? Let me start from there. How many of us have downloaded, or let me see how many of us have not downloaded Power BI? Anyone? Do you all have Power BI on our computer?
Yeah. I haven't too.
You haven't?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's not a problem, but I believe you have access to internet. If not, you can't be on this meeting. So I would share a link now. So just head up to powerbi.microsoft.com. I've pasted it on the chat, powerbi.microsoft.com. And somewhere up there in the menu, you should find sign up. Please, if you have not downloaded Power BI Desktop, please follow along now so that every one of us can be on the same page.
Yeah.
So have you gone there? Have you seen sign up?
Yeah, I'm already downloading it now.
Okay. So just download it. So also there you will see something like sign in. So if you want to sign into your Microsoft account, if you want to access, let me show you from my end. But I think the plan I have is expired. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me see if I can.
Excuse me, do we need to sign in for the desktop?
You don't need to sign in for the desktop.
Oh, okay, good.
You don't need to sign in for the desktop.
And just like I said in the first class, a lot of these things are just. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so a lot of this thing is just grammar. So when you hear the word business intelligence, it's not something big. It's just simply this is a set of information. What can we derive from it, or what can we interpret it as? If you remember in the first class that I'm saying that like very tiny data sets, which is happening right now. So how many minutes have we spent on the lesson? How many people spoke during that minute? And you can say, oh, so a lot of people in this class usually talk while the class is going on. They're interactive. So that's just business intelligence. This is the data. This is what we can bring out of it. So when you hear that word, don't always get like hyped and, oh, what is this? Is this some FBI work or something like that? So just to make your mind a little bit at ease when you hear those terminologies. So over to you. We can go.
Are you done downloading? Yeah. Are you done downloading?
Yes, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is the Power BI service interface. So you can see I'm on a free trial plan. So I have like 59 days left. So this is how it looks like. This is Power BI service. So you can see I'm on Chrome. I'm on my browser here. So you can only use it online. So, and this is where you can access the collaboration tools that I talked about. You can work with a team and all of these things. And if you also need to download, you can download from here. I mean the desktop now. So you can download Power BI desktop from here. So another interesting feature I forgot about Power BI is the fact that you can also work on mobile. Don't you find that interesting? Probably you are having a long flight travel and you probably need to work, not necessarily with your laptop. You can also do some things on the mobile.
I have something to say. Yeah, I have the Power BI mobile, but it's just like the Power BI service. You need an organizational email as well.
Exactly. So that's why we have it inside of this service. So I'm just mentioning that these are some of the things that makes Power BI really unique out there, and something that every business is looking to adapt as far as data analytics or business intelligence is concerned. All right, so having said that, I would go over to Power BI desktop. So now that everyone has launched their Power BI, let me launch mine as well, and we can be on the same page. So we should have something like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you can see the interface is totally different from this is service, this is Power BI desktop. You can see. So you can also try sign up. If you have a work email, it's not a problem. You can sign up and, you know, just see some of these things, just explore it and all of that. It's not, most of the things they are similar or even the same, just that this one has some features because it is cloud-based and you can do some things on it. Okay, so this is our Power BI, and then this is how it looks like. I'm sure many of us are familiar with this layout, this ribbon. Can you see my arrow, my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure many of us are familiar with this. This is Microsoft-esque, right? Because it's somewhere around 2009, Microsoft made all of their product have the same ribbon layout and all of that. So it's not a new thing. Okay, we've already covered what we use Power BI for, and what are the expectations in this course? I need to also set expectations. One important thing I want us to know is that Power BI updates very, very frequently. I mean, maybe once in a month, at least once in a month. They update very, very frequently. I'm sure before we conclude our course, or even probably before our next meeting, if you probably want to work on Power BI, you might be prompted to download. Okay, I downloaded yesterday, but if you check my screen now, bottom right, can you see it? Can you see where I'm hovering? Bottom right, you can see update available, click to download. So they are always downloading. They are always updating rather. They are always updating. So it's important. Don't be surprised. You might come tomorrow and you don't find insert there. They probably moved everything that is here. They probably moved it to modeling. That's how interesting it can be. So they update all the time. So mine is updated as at yesterday. Some of us that have Power BI before might have maybe downloaded it like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I wouldn't know. So what I'm saying in essence is sometimes what we see on the screen might necessarily not match each other, you know, but of course, all of these tools are there. You probably just have to know where it is now and all of that. And I think Google is our friend for that if we have any issue. I'll also talk about where we can always seek help while I go on with this. Also, we'll be working with Power BI in this one. We'll be looking at the fundamentals. We'll be looking at some functionalities on it. And okay, I talked about Power Pivot, Power Excel. Well, I don't need to dwell much on that, but just so you know, Power BI and Power Excel, they are built on the same engine. So they literally work the same for those of us that use Excel. And just so far, we'll only be working on Power BI desktop. We won't be looking at Power BI service until maybe we'll take the next course. Okay, so now that we've installed, let us start. So the very first thing I want us to do is change some settings so that all of us can work on the same page. It is important. I will tell you why some of them are important. First one is just over to your right, go to File, and click on Options and Settings. Then click on Options. So once you do that, you have a dialog box opening, Options. Have you all seen it? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so inside of these options, we have global options and we have current file. So what this means is every of the settings that are here, once you make these changes, they are permanent on your desktop. But if you make any change here, it will only be effective on that file that you are working with. So the moment you open Power BI again, another day, the settings that you made here will be defaulted, like they will go back to default. But the ones you make here will be kind of be there. So that's like global, that's current file. So one setting I want us to do that is very important is go to preview features. Go to preview features.
Okay.
And just deselect every of these things. Just deselect every of them, just to make sure that all of us are working on the same page. I mean, just deselect everything. Okay. If you want to know, more about some of these, you can just click on learn more and go and read that further. But I just want to make sure that we are all doing the same thing, so that what I'm saying is the same thing as what you'll be seeing. So that's why I want us to deactivate all of them, and then go to data load. Under this current file, go to data load. Then click this auto dictate new relationship after data is loaded. Unclick it or uncheck it.
Okay. Yeah.
So during the course of the program, as I will explain what that means, I will show you why we did that. So, but literally what it means is the moment you open a data, Power BI should not link the tables for us. You shouldn't create any relationship, or we'll be the one to do it all by ourselves. You understand? And I think that's very important, because Power BI cannot understand the data as we do. Of course, because of the artificial intelligence that comes with it, because that's one of the interesting features again about Power BI. It has AI features and is able to, of course, artificial intelligence, we know what that means. But no matter how smart it is, there are still some things about the data that it doesn't know. So we want to do it by ourselves, and that's why we need to uncheck that. The second thing is regional settings. This is very, very important. I mean, very, very important. When you start working with a lot of data, getting data from different sources, it's important to always confirm the source of the data and come and change the settings. If I take a data from, say for instance, I'm in Poland right now. I would just want to create an instance. And in Poland, they use, instead of, if they want to write two naira, okay, let me say $2.50 now. In US, you probably write 2.50, right? In Poland, they will write 2.50. You understand? So countries have different delimiters. They call them delimiters. For instance, comma, some use colon, some use full stop. You know, even in terms of right to left or left to right, you know, imagine you want to work on a file that is coming from a country like Iran or Saudi Arabia, that they probably start writing from the right to the left, you know. So it's important to always make sure that you know the source of your data and you make this change here. So if at all the file you're not working with is not using this format, you need to change it to the format that they are using in that country. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Very, very clear.
All right, so these are the three important changes that we will make right now. But this, please, anytime you want to work on a data, always come for this. This, maybe as you go on with your work, you might choose not to do it or not, but it depends on you. Of course, when it creates the relationship, you can always delete it and choose the one you want. But so those are the three things we want us to go with now. And we click on OK. We require restarting Microsoft. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But for regional settings, what do we select? Should we leave it at English, US, or?
Yes, you leave it. I believe most of the data we'll be working with actually is using that frame, so it's not a problem. So that's that. So this is the Power BI interface. This is what it looks like. You can see it's really amazing. I mean, these are the visualizations. Now, one important thing, the most core to Power BI is the views. So if you check your right, your left, where my arrow is, so we have three views here. The first one is the report view. So this report view is where you create your report. I mean, your report is different from dashboard. I don't know even if some of us know what dashboards are or what reports are, but in case you know, if you don't know, it's not a problem. We'll definitely cover all that during this course. But in case you do know what dashboard is, and so dashboard is usually more of a one-pager summary. So the dashboard is literally like a one page that summarizes the insight from a data, while reports are multiple pages, and it contains a lot of things based on filtering and all of that. So, but they are similar, and sometimes they use them interchangeably. So I just wanted to know that. Then the second view is data view. So if we have our data plugged in here, you very soon you will work with the data and you see how it looks like. And the other one is the model view. Let me, should I load the data, for instance? Let me try to load. Okay, this is
yeah, I think that will be fine. Then it kind of like they can see how it all relates together. It's easier to explain.
Yeah, okay. Let me go to this, for instance. Although this is power.
And just to add to what he was saying earlier about dashboards and reports, so you can call your dashboard kind of a summary of the entire thing. It's one pager having all the stuff that you did there, or as much as you want to put there, and the report is the entire document from the data modeling and visualization that you created. But we will not explain further. I mean, when we work on the data, then you see exactly what the dashboard looks like, and then you are able to differentiate.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarification. I'm trying to load up. I don't know. I have so many things
Is it
on my
possible to
device.
share the doc and the chart?
Yeah, I will be sending the data soon. I think I was supposed to even do that. I forgot. So just. Okay, so let's just continue. Don't worry. You will get to see. You will see a lot of data, of course, and a lot of modeling. So modeling is like what we deactivated the other time. So when we go deeper into data modeling, you will understand. I don't need to start explaining now. I want to go as elementary as possible. Okay, so having said that, typically what do we do in Power BI? What we do basically in Power BI is, first thing, we connect to a data source. The second thing, we build our table, by creating a model. We are going to do all of these things. I'm just preparing our mind to it, and then we are going to design our interactive report. You understand? So let me repeat that again. The first thing we do is to connect to a data source. We need to get the data. The second thing is build relationship. It's more like working on the data. What you do on Excel, typically something close to that you have to start, calculating this field, this and that. That's what you're going to do, and then you're going to build visuals. So so what are the resources that you will need? So it's very important to note that this is not as much as you would want to do a lot of things on your own, you still need help from external resources. Even the experts, those are into it key, like the best of the best, they still seek support. So one important thing is Power BI blog. It's very, very important. Once you come here, if you go to help, you will see Power BI blog. This is where you get new features, new updates, also the community. It's a very, very big community. And if you have questions, they will answer your questions. These are resources that can help you. Also on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, there are a lot of resources that you can always come across. So whenever you encounter a problem, don't feel anyhow about it. It's normal. We are all learning. Everyone is in the learning phase, and the solutions are out there. You probably just need to seek it. All right, so let me just walk us through this menu. The first one, we have the home menu, and this home menu contains let me see if that data is loaded. Okay, so this is the data I was trying to load. So this is the data view. There are no visuals there, so there are no reports, so they are not. But if I want to create one, let me just quickly create one. For instance, let me just, so you can see something. Let me just do something. Just let me see if it makes sense. Is it coming out? It's loading. Okay, so this is like a visual. So you can see it's under this report page. Then we have our data. This is our data, just the way you have it on Excel. You can see. Then we have our model. This is our model view. So in this place now, I loaded 2 data sets, so you can see them. So if I want to connect them, maybe I want the date here to be the same as the date here, I can kind of like connect them. That's what that connection means and all of that. Don't worry, we'll walk through all of these things as we go. So, but I will use this one to explain what I wanted to explain earlier. So when we are in the data, this is the report view now. You can see we have home, we have insert. Insert contains a lot of features that we can add. We have AI visuals. Just like I said earlier, one important feature with Power BI is the AI it has a lot of AI tools. We're also going to cover some of these. Then we can connect to the Power Platform. I'm sure some of us have also heard of Power Platforms when you talk of Power Automate, Power Apps. These are all among the Power platforms, with including Power BI. So you can connect to them, and we'll cover some of these things, just basic during this course. Then you can insert text box, button, and all of this. Then the modeling view, you can create new measure. These are the modeling view. Then you have the view as well. This is where you have about your charts, your grid lines. You can have grid lines if you want, just something similar to what you have in Excel. I don't really like it. Then you can have the mobile layout as you're working. You want to see how it looks like in your mobile view. All of these things, you would see them. Then, of course, the help. This is where you can get documentation, the Power BI community, like I said earlier. Now, if you go to your data view, you will notice that we have additional. Oh, I think I need to send you data so that you can relate with what I'm doing. Okay. So, how can I get it across? Sir?
You can drop it for me, and I will make it downloadable. You can drop it for me by email, by WhatsApp, anyway.
Okay, please send me your email. I think that will be faster, so I can send from here. Let me quickly check. We can start with this. Okay, let me share this works.
I was muted. Yeah, if you press FEM, you should get my email. It should come out since we've shared some documents before. And just while we're trying to figure that out, so when you hear the word AI, artificial intelligence, like I always say, it's all about concept and all this grammar that they put. AI in Power BI is simply how do I put it? Asking your dashboard or report some questions. So you've done your data modeling. You now have sales per country, sales per price, sales per week, sales per that. So in Power BI, you can ask that data set questions. So you can go and type in questions and like, what is the city with the highest sales? And automatically it gives you the answer, and you can put that answer on the dashboard immediately. So when you hear that word artificial intelligence, it's not something crazy. It's just the ability that you can ask your data sets questions, and then you will get a response based on it. So if I give you a set of data and you analyze it and give a report, so if from that report, if I'm the manager, I can ask that report some questions that you have not provided, but it's within the context of what you've done. Okay. So, yep.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that explanation. So while we get the data across, I would just continue. So I will show you. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me try to send this data.
So far, do we have any question? And I want you to know that it's not going to look very understandable right now. So it's totally fine if you're a little bit of confused. It's normal if you are looking at something for the very first time. But do we have any questions thus far? Please, if you have any questions, please, you can tell us. We're moving too fast. I don't understand. There's this language that is confusing. If you please let me know. Anybody? Any question? And one thing with all of this as well is be ready to do personal practice. It's going to help a lot. So I'm recording the video, and you always have access to it to go over it again, but a lot of practice is needed. So you start to get familiar with everything. You won't learn Power BI in 6 months. Even people who are making the update on Power BI, they are still learning. So it's not something that you're going to exhaust that, oh yeah, finally, I know everything on Power BI. No, as he said, changes are occurring like almost every minute. So you will always keep learning and getting better with it. And at some point you get to that point where you are able to flex around the data sets, like, do as you want.
Yeah. So I shared the resources to you. So kindly acknowledge, or just let me send it across to others so that they can access it.
Yeah, I received it. So I will work on that immediately. You can continue.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for the break in transmission. Let's put it that way. Okay. So under the data tab, once you click on it, you can see that we have additional options here. As compared to when we were in the report view. Here we don't have modeling anymore because here we have table tools and column tools. So, and what this literally does is it helps you customize your tables, because here you are working with tables. It helps you customize your columns, and also under the model view as well, we just have to just home and help, So those are things I want you to know. As you get used to some of these tools, you probably understand them. Okay, that being said, let me move over. Okay, okay. Those are like called contextual views. So when let's check some contextual views as well. In this report view, if I click on this visual, for instance, that we created, you can see that additionally two other views popped up, which is one of them is format, another one is data drill. These are the things we are going to cover with time. Some of these things we are familiar with them if you've worked with Microsoft Excel before, even Microsoft Word. Like all these things are things I think we have in all Microsoft packages, Office tools. You have send, backward, align, and all of these things. So they should probably not sound it. But even if you haven't, it's not a problem. We can always get to work on all these things together. So guys, it's going to be more fun now. Enough of the talking. So we are going to connect to our very first data source, and we have a lot of data sources that you can connect to. In fact, there's virtually any type of data source you have out there in the world right now that that Power BI cannot connect to. So let us just try to explore. Click on Get Data. Please, let's do it together so it will be interesting and it would probably stick faster that way. So just click on Get Data. And yes, you should have this screen. We have a lot of data options. If you scroll down, you can keep scrolling. You can connect to LinkedIn, Sales Navigator. You can connect to Microsoft Excel. There's literally any data source. You can even write your query yourself. This is using M language. This is another area that I would really want you to explore further if you really want to get deeper. I mean, have full control of how this works for you. So it's recommendable. It's the language that Power BI uses to work. They call it M language. So you can write your query from scratch. Probably I might give you an assignment on that. It will be an involuntary assignment, or a voluntary one, like if you want, if you don't want. But if you really want to go deep, you can always learn the basics of the language. Just works like the DAX language, just like in macro. Some of us will use macro in Excel, just the way it works. That's literally how it works as well. So you can check the data source by, can connect to Excel, connect to a text file or CSV, you can connect to JSON, you can even connect to a folder, like connecting to a folder that contains your data set. And this is really a fantastic feature because as soon as you update that folder, even in the backend, it connects, it updates, it picks it up. So that's one of the interesting things. You can connect to PDF. Talking about database, you can connect to SQL, you can connect to a lot of platforms. You can connect to Power Platform as well. You can connect to Azure, a lot of things. You can connect to on online services, you can connect as well, SharePoint, all of these things. You can go to others as well. You can even search. For instance, if I search for SQL, you can search, you can see it pops it up. And also you can connect to template app. They're like, these are things that they've done before. You can just try to check them out and just explore all of these things out. So what we are going to be doing now is we are going to be connecting to an online. We're going to be connecting online. Before I show you that, not necessarily you come here all the time. You can just, some of them are here for you. You can connect directly from Excel. You don't need to go here again. You can connect directly from Excel. You can connect from Power BI dataset. You can connect from SQL Server. These are like important because they know these are really, you are likely to use these tools often than the rest. So I think that's why we have them here so that you can easily access them. So in case you don't, then you can also click on this arrow here. It pops up the immediate options. These are like the easiest one that you're likely to connect with. Then if your needs are beyond that, then you can just click on more or click on get data itself, and it's going to pop up that screen where you can access all that data source. So I'll be sharing an email, a link rather, on the, I'll be dropping a link on the chat now. So we are going to try to access that data together. So it's a failed bank list. I've shared the link on chat. Please check it out.
Okay, so just to add, I shared the Google Drive for the files you sent to me. That's the one I had. So the files are in Google Drive and you don't need a password. You can access every file from that. So now they have the what one you wanted to share.
Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let us connect. So I shared something to our chat. So directly, it's a link. So just copy it, don't click on it. You can click on it well if you want, but we don't need to click on it, just copy it. Just right click on it and click on or just highlight and just Control-C. So now we'll go to get data, then we are connecting to web. You know, I told you one of the important features that comes with Power BI is the fact that you can connect to a website. You know, on a web page, you can scrape out the data on there. So just the URL you copy, just paste it. If you paste it here, you should see something like basic advanced. So if you want advanced connections, this maybe you probably want to automate it, or you want to like make some modifications to a particular section that you want to copy, or when it's requesting for it, you don't want it to just take time, maybe spend the whole day trying to search out that data. So this is more of an advanced feature, but you probably don't need that. Just go to basic. And
please, excuse me, please, where do I paste it on?
You paste it inside of this URL. Let me go again. So just click on get data, then click on web.
Okay, I got you.
So then you will see it, then just paste it inside of there. Did you find it?
I did. I'm good now. Thank you.
All right, all right. Please, if any other person that doesn't get it, please just ask anytime. So now we click on OK. And yes, so if you actually click on the website, you can just for preview. Okay, let me bring that screen over here so we can probably see what's going on. So this is if you click on that website, this is it. This is how it looks like. So it's like a list of field banks. So you can see this on this page, you can see that we have this data on the page. Let me just drop this here. We are waiting for it to load, I think. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you get anything? Did you get any prompt? Okay, okay, let's just wait. My machine is slow. I mean, it's really running on a lot of stuff, so I'll make sure to correct that prior to the next class.
Sorry, guys. I have a situation. Mine refused to paste for some reasons. I don't know.
Okay, can you share your screen? Let me stop sharing so you can quickly share your screen and let's see what's going on there together.
Okay. Sure, I will do so now.
Okay. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, just one sec.
Okay.
Excuse me, could you please send the link again, because I had to switch my laptop to the other one that I'm using the Power BI on.
Okay, so I sent it again.
Yeah, thank you. Same as Femi.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so this is it.
Click on web.
Then Control V.
Yeah.
Not
Did you
pasting.
maybe you didn't copy correctly? you can okay, let's try it together. Just go to chat again and try to copy. I mean, go to the chat and let's try to copy.
Okay, just one sec.
Just it's really tricky copying. So just use just highlight first, then Control-C.
And make sure that you are not highlighting a space, because if you highlight a blank space on the document, it's totally going to change it.
Just sorry, let me see.
Is it still the same thing? Alternatively, you can just click on the link.
That's what I did.
Yeah, so click on the link. It will open in a browser. then just copy the link.
That's right.
Because
I had the same issue with it too. So that's right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do so now.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So when I did that, you can see what we have. I'm sure some of us have this screen. Can we see it? Is this the screen we are? So now this is because it was.
Again, I think mine failed because it says there was an error or something like that. So
It
when
failed.
I tried to copy, yeah, it failed.
Okay, it's no problem. We'll just, don't worry, we are still going to load it a different way. So I just want to explain. So what is literally doing here is we are sending it to a web page to extract this data, and you can see that on our display options, it has highlighted the tables that it found, right? So if it's this data, if it's this table that we actually need, this table 1, we can load that table 1. You understand? So what I just wanted to show you here is that it's able to sense table from a web page. This is not like a CSV file or an Excel file. It's just a web page. It's able to extract data from a web page. So that's literally what I wanted to show you. So you can cancel now, and what you will do is go to that website. Just click on that website, and if you go to that website, you realize that you can actually download this data, right? So if I click on download, it will download as a CSV file, right? So now I can bring in this CSV file because it's already on my computer. But if I don't want to do that, let's assume I don't want to just be taking space on my computer, I still want to maintain being online, you can right click on this download data and copy link address, right? So once you right click and copy link address, what you are literally doing is you are copying the link to that file itself. You are being particular now, not just the whole web page. You can see when we pasted, this was the link I gave you up here. There's nothing showing that it is a file, a data file. But when I copy and paste, this is what we have. You can see the difference. It is now being specific, and it is saying, this one is saying failed bank list. Now this one is saying failed bank list /bank list.csv. So this is a file now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is what you can copy now. This is what you will copy. Again, just right click on this download data, copy link address. So you're copying the link to the file itself. So then you go again with the same process. So now just get data, web, and paste your link. So there we go. So we have our data. Now I downloaded the data initially, and as I mentioned, so if I open this data in my Excel, I will still have it literally the same. You can also cross-check with what you have on that website to make sure that it is the same thing. Let me just drag this here and just try to bring it here. It's really stubborn guy. I just want us to be clear with this. I'm just going as elementary as possible, talking about data sources and all of that. So this is the file in Excel. You can see it's literally the same thing, right? So we had it downloaded. Then on Power BI as well, this is it. And this is the file on the web page. So it's literally the same thing. So either of this method works. So just for this data, I've shown you like 3 ways you can actually bring in this data. All right. So now, any data source that you use, you are likely to come to this next phase, which is the query editor. So that takes us to the query editor. What you see on the screen is the query editor, this guy. Yeah, not this is like the pre-query editor, let me put it that way, because this is not like the main query editor. But what this does is you have options of either loading the data straight up or transforming the data. And that's actually what I mentioned earlier, one of the things that makes it different from Excel, talking about data modeling and all of that. So now when you click on I think it's high time I close this guy so it doesn't distract me. Okay, now, so what we are going to do is we are going to transform this data. So click on transform. We are not loading directly. We want to transform and see what we can do to it, more like play around the data, try to restructure some things. What you are going to have there technically is what you have on your Excel view, so you're not loading the data directly. You want to try and make some changes. Apply changes. What's this? Why am I having this?
I think I'm having an error with my Power BI. I can't close it. I can't do anything there.
What's the issue? What page are you on now?
I'm not even on any page. When I was trying to like open the link, and since then I can't even open anything. Unfortunately, probably because I'm not used to I'm used to MacBook laptop, so this one I'm using, it's
do
you mind sharing your screen?
Will you share your screen then?
1 second, please.
Okay.
It's a touch screen, so I can't even do anything.
Okay. You probably need to get a mouse or something. Make your work easier.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's the mouse. Okay, wait 1 second. I'll show you what's happening. Okay, this is. Sorry, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so when I try to like click anything, I can't. And I also try to like close it, so I can reopen, but I still can't close it.
Okay,
I think,
what you're going to
maybe you should restart this PC.
What you can do.
It's not mine. I can't restart.
What you can do now is click on. You are using the Windows, right?
Yeah.
Click Control Shift Escape. Control Shift Escape. Just click it right there now. You should open your Have you clicked on it?
Yes.
Nothing popped up?
Nothing. Control Shift and K.
Escape. No, escape.
Oh,
escape.
Escape. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so your task manager should pop up. Then just right click on this Power BI desktop and close it. Yeah, just right click on it and end task. Yeah. So it should end that way. And now you should be able to. Is it still open?
No.
So sorry, now you can try to restart the Power BI again, and hopefully it works this time.
And why does it pop up too? Is it because I double clicked or?
You don't need to, when you're opening there, you don't need to double click, just click once since you're opening from apps. Okay. No, just close one of it. Yeah. Just
It's Windows.
No, just do it once. Once you do it once, it's really a very powerful package. So if your system size RAM, just like mine, it's not that strong enough, you might probably take some time to have these things up. You understand? So just yeah. So I think we have one now, right?
Yeah, only one.
So you can close this. This is like the starter. It pops up all the time. If you want, you can deactivate it as well.
Okay.
So get data now and paste. No, this is not the one to paste. This is the website. I think I said if you click on the website, if you go to the website.
Oh, you want me to go to the website?
Yeah, you can open the website. I think I just tried to show.
1 second. So.
Maybe I share the link again on. Okay, just click on this link that I have on the chat now. Maybe you can copy that. Have you found the link? So you can copy it.
Yes, I did.
So
do you want me to open it in a Chrome or?
No. Paste it now. That is the direct link to the
Oh, data. You want me to paste it from here?
Yeah, web. We are connecting from a website, so paste it. No, it's still the old one.
Still the one that has the CSV file.
Yeah. So you know what? Just open your browser. Open your browser and paste that link, the one you have on your clipboard right now. So yeah, just paste it.
Sorry.
No problem, it's fine.
So I'm not a Microsoft person. I don't use Windows.
It's not a problem. Just click on the address bar, click on space, then paste the link that you have. That address bar, yeah, just click on it. Click on space, backspace, clear it out. Yeah, that's right. So just click on that. So it takes you to the page. So now you go to download data, this download data that you have at your right. At your right.
Well, so I think the Zoom is obstructing it. Okay.
Yeah, you can. So click on it. If you click on it, you have downloaded the data on your PC. But if you don't want to download, you can just right click on this download data and copy. No, right click on it. And copy. No, right click on it. The other click. Yeah. So copy link address. That's right. So now go back to your Power BI and paste that. So this is the link to the file itself, not to the page.
Oh, okay.
So remove this link and paste the new one you have. That's right. So you can see you have banklist.csv. That's the extension. So just click on OK, and we should be on the same page that way. Oh, okay. Connect, yeah. I didn't have this screen when I was doing mine because I already connected to the data source before. I'm sure most of you will have that screen because it's the first time. Okay, so you can stop here. So just stop stop sharing. You're welcome. Stop sharing so I can share again. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Sorry guys for the delay. So
it's okay.
All right. So click on, I was explaining that sometimes you can load directly, but other times you of course need to make modifications to, in fact, at all times, you need to make modifications to that, except maybe you worked on the file on Excel, for instance, and you want to bring it to Power BI for visualization. So you already worked on it, so you can just load directly. So other times, if you are starting from fresh, you probably need to, transform the data. On other versions of Power BI, you might find edit data, not transform. So these are just the changes that they make, but they are all the same thing. So click on transform data. So you should have this page where you click on transform data. Does everyone have this page?
I have this page.
All right, thanks for the response. So this is the Power Query editor I was talking about. So this is where you are able to edit, work on your tables, So we have a lot of tools here as well, where we'll be working on some of them today. Of course, others you probably have to learn all by yourself as you get used to the whole thing, but we'll just touch the key ones. And trust me, if you work again, I will always make reference to Excel because I believe it's basic for most of us. So if you've worked on Excel, most of the things here should just be like, just easy for us. If not, it's still not a problem. You can always catch up with it. They are all very interesting and very easy to use. So you can see our data set. We have it here. So this is the, if you come to the, I have something missing here. Okay, because of this type of data. Okay, it's no problem. All right, so let me just say, I want to basically show you the layout for the Power Query editor. This is how it looks like. And when you are done, you can click on close and apply. And by the time you click on close and apply, it will load. Now it's loading. Then it will take you to the initial view that you are supposed to have. It's analyzing, it's saying it has 563 rows and all of that. Then you have it here. So this is your data view again. You should have all of those data here. It's loading. So you have them here. Then this is your model view. We just have one table because we only loaded one data. So that's why we have just this here. So we've already shown ourselves. Then this is report view. All right. So let me load another data from my end. Don't worry, we are still going to load them together when it's time. I just want to quickly show us some things. We can load this sales, for instance. Let me load this sales. I just want to explain, just show some things in that query editor. Okay, so because it's a different data set, that one is prepared differently. This data set is also prepared differently. So some of those features did not appear. That's why I couldn't use it to explain. So you can see this time we have these properties. This is the name of your table. You can always change this name. It's very recommended if it makes your work easier, especially when you are getting your data from an external source that you need the names that you would probably be able to relate with. You can always change the name of your table here. Then these are like the queries, the tables that you've loaded. Initially, I loaded this bank list, the one we worked on. Now this is the new one I am loading. This is what we have here. Now, one interesting thing I need to tell you about Power Query Editor is it doesn't have Control Z. And I'm sure most.
I think I must have. Sorry, one second. I think I must have missed how you worked on this new data.
It's still the same step. I loaded from Excel, but don't worry, we are going to load. We are going to load as well. So I just want to show you the layout to explain. Basically, don't worry, we are going to load as well. I'm not. It doesn't like to guide you on how to load it. Don't worry, I will show you for sure. Okay. So one interesting thing about this Power Query I want you to know is there's no Control Z, and I'm sure most of us are probably used to that by now. I mean, if I make a mistake now, for instance, I remove this colon, I cannot Control Z to take it back. Alternatively, what we can do is come to this section called applied steps. So the way Power BI works is for every step you take, for every action you take on this data table, it is recorded here. And it's interesting, and at the same time it has disadvantage because, for instance, if you've done about 20 steps, anytime you load that data, all of those steps that you have performed will still be recorded, and this will affect the efficiency of your machine. It becomes slower because it has to do a lot of actions and all of that. So if you need to restore your data, I mean the Control Z, instead of applying that Control Z, you can just close this out. If you hover on it, you see this red cross, meaning I want to cancel this out. So once you click on it, we are back to what we have before. So this is like the alternative to the Control Z. Do you understand what I'm explaining?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So if you also check on all properties, you can add description, include in report refresh. That's if you refresh your report, you can always have this here or not. These are all the modifications you can make to it. Then we have this transform layout. We are going to be working on some of them now. We have the query pane. I already showed you before. This has the list of all the queries that you have on your list. So it's really interesting. Trust me. We have the home, we have the transform, we have the add column, we have the view, we have the tools. We are going to be working on all of these soon. And let me see if I'm not mixing anything out. Okay. So that is the Power Query. That's how it looks like. So we are going to be bringing in some data now. We'll be performing basic table transformation, and I'm really excited about it because it is more practical than what we have been seeing so far. So you all get to see these things and get to understand better what some of these things are used for. Okay. All right. So guys, we will need to load the data. You can load the do we all have access to the data I sent? All the data, do we have access to it now, sir?
Yeah, I shared it. I shared it already. I shared it in the chat.
So everyone click on that link and download. You can download all of the data, but the one we need to use right now is the customer data. So just click on that customer data. Probably have, let me share from my own
If you have
screen.
any problems accessing it, please let me know. It's a Google Drive, but it's accessible to anybody who has the link, so no password needed.
So please download all of the data sets. We'll be using, if not, we can't use all of them today, but just download them for reference. Then we want to bring in this customer listing. So I will need a volunteer to import this for us. So I'll stop sharing the screen and the person can take over. I mean, someone should import that customer, should bring in that customer data inside of the Power BI for us to see. Anyone who volunteer? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, sir, please share your screen. Thank you for the courage to try. No, it's fine.
It's a very good way to learn. So like if there's any error, we can follow up and you can see real time.
So I already downloaded the customer data. Just 1 sec.
We all should try it too. So just try. Perhaps there is a better way of you in bringing that data.
I don't know, this is just popping up.
You can close it. Yeah. Has anyone loaded the data? Has anyone loaded the data?
Unfortunately, I'm unable to download the customer data into my desktop, so I'll be able to load it.
You've not been able to download the data?
Yeah, I think I have to accept a third-party download drive from the Google Drive. So I'm having issue with downloading, but I can upload it to the Power BI.
Okay, no problem. Please work on that prior to the next session. I really want us to follow along. You know, what's the alternative to that? Is there a way you can get it?
I think it's coming up.
I think.
Okay.
This is it, right?
Yes. Yes. So you can transform or you can load. What do you have to do?
I transform.
Transform, okay.
Sorry, I'm using two screens, so let me just apply the changes first. Okay. I don't know. I have so much stuff running on my PC, so it's going to be taking.
I have similar issue as well.
I think you're not alone. Usually it's a very big problem. Like, okay, do I close this? Do I really need it? Do I still need to use it? So one thing that you can do is you can use the bookmark option. You can create folders on your browser and like use bookmark. So once you know you're not done with something, you can bookmark that place, close it, and anytime you need to go back to it, you can always resume from there. That way you don't have like 50 tabs open at the same time.
Yeah. It should be open now. Anyone? Maybe stop sharing as well. Stop sharing. Thank you for the step. Because yeah, of course, Zoom also contributes to the system load sometimes, especially when you're sharing the screen. So you can stop sharing and let's see. Well,
I can't stop sharing. Like I don't know. Let me see.
Just go up. You should find that dialog box. Yeah, just click on. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So anyone who has loaded the data, please, I need us to talk. I know it's not, maybe not everyone is following immediately because we have access to the video, but if you are, please let us know if you have done this. So if there's any issue, we can always address it immediately. Okay. All right. In the absence of none, let me just take us a walkthrough again. So initially was trying to bring it up from workbook. You went to more, all of these things. Well, you can just get it directly from here because it's a CSV file. Then you load customers. And as soon as you load customers, I mean, it will pop up this. So, you have the data set. So we can, now, let me just quickly work on this a bit. So this is the time zone. You can see this is the origin. It is working with my time, European time zone. This is what it works with. Then the delimiter, this was what I was explaining earlier. Some countries use comma as their delimiter, some use colon, some use semicolon. So knowing all this helps, communicating and letting your Power BI system know that this is really what you need to do in this place. Then also look at this. This is like, this is what is viewing. If you want to, based on the entire data set, then it's really, imagine you have millions of rows, then this will actually be a problem because, excuse me, because you've not even started evaluating your data and you're already playing with a whole lot here. So it's not recommended. Just keep it as 200 or whatever default view you have. Microsoft Power BI might change it tomorrow. So if I say 200, it might be 400 tomorrow. So just keep it like that because this is just simple layout and we don't need much here. So just click on transform data and it's going to take us to the to the query editor, Power Query Editor. So we want to try out some things that we see. Like I said, this is very similar to working on Excel. So it's not really a big deal. We'll just try to work on this. So you can see that we have the columns here, 13 columns. If you check it here, we have 13 columns and over.
So now I'm able to download the data. So did you transform?
Yeah, transform, yeah. It will bring us to the query editor. Thank you. So now you can see that we have 13 columns and over 1,000 rows. So if you over like this, you can always see all the columns that we have. And you can see the type of the column here. You can see this is a numeric, this is text, this is text, this is text, this is a date, this is text. So these are all of these things. This gender as well, the email address, text. This is currency. So it's dictated as dollars and the number of children and all of that. Then you can always change that here. Once you click on it, you want it to be maybe an O number. For this, for instance, this one, I want it to be decimal. So I can just say something like decimal or percentage. It automatically changes that. So okay, let me just say replace current step. So let's see. So it changes to percentage. If you want to probably change it to date or time, you can always do that. Now, instead of me to come back here again and change it to decimal, it will be very, it is okay, it is fine, it will work normally, but just like I explained, it will affect your steps. The number of steps you are taking will further increase. So rather than doing that, the moment I change the type, I can just close it again so that my system won't have a lot of work to do when it's coming up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Please, how do you close it again? I didn't get
just over. Let me make the step again. So let me say I'm changing to percentage. You can see it has added this step, change type, right? So you can just click on close, you take it back.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. So these are the things that we can see mainly looking at this data set. So now let us do some basic table transformations. First of which, first we will be using a lot of these tools, so let us just try to play with some of them. Like on the home tab, we have keep columns, goodbye, we'll be using some of them. Use first row as headers. It's already done. The moment it loaded the data, it already recognized this as the first row. But if you don't want that, maybe you want to use headers as first row. It's more like you want to, let me click on it. So you can see that now all these our customer, colon, prefix, they are now like part of the data now. You can see. So now it has renamed all of the columns to column 1, column 2, column 3. Now, let me go a bit further into that. Sometimes it depends on the source of the data. Some data will not give you those column names. They will just start listing all of the data sets. You understand? While some, they will give it, but the system, because of the way probably the CSV file is stored or it is processed, it will pop up like this, just the way you have it like this. You will have your colon ID as part of the data set. So that's where this comes handy. So let's assume your data set was like this when it came. You can definitely use this feature, and it takes that first row as the colon. Do you understand? So I hope that is clear. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So again, instead of me probably trying to do it again and all of that, I can just take all of these things out, and it's a way to work. Trust me, as far as the Power Query is concerned. Okay, so now we would take a lot of features here. You can also, if you right click on this menu, you can have some of the features that you have here. You can have them here. For instance, if I want to remove this colon, you can just right click on it. You remove the colon. You can duplicate the colon. Like if you want to duplicate this colon, I can duplicate it. You can see it has created another copy for me. It named it customer key copy. So all these things, you can just play around it. Trust me, they are very, very easy to use and understand. So split, all of these things, we'll probably use some of them during the course of this program. So that being said, I will just quickly let us look at some. First, we'll look at text specific tools. So there are some tools here that they are only accessible based on the type of file you are formatting. Okay, sorry, I just need to switch off my camera for a moment. Okay, all right. So there are some tools here that are accessible based on the type of file you are formatting. So for instance, if I click on this file now, this customer key, because the values that are here are numbers, right? If I come to this transform now, look at it. Hold on a second. No. Okay, so this text column, they are like used for anything that has to do with text. Probably you want to split by delimiter and all of these things. You want to take transform to lowercase, uppercase, and all of that. And we have the number colon as well. You can use this to perform probably statistics or maybe addition, subtraction, trigonometry, and all of those things. These are things you can just probably look into and try to explore inside of the text specific tools. So let us just play with some of them. The first one we'll do is probably this one now. We want to kind of like change it to small letter, for instance. So I'm clicking on this tab. Now I can go to format, change to lowercase. You can see everything here change to lowercase. Alternatively, I can come here as well, do the same thing, change everything to lowercase. So those are the formatting you can have. I'm taking them out, so removing them again. So you can also like, capitalize each word as you have it. So trim and clean. So these two features are very important tools in Power BI. In Excel, yeah, you use them, especially when you probably have to do some calculations. But yeah, it is very important to address it because Power BI recognizes space. I mean, it takes space as a character, technically. So sometimes this might come with a space, for instance, maybe from the data set, this might have a space inside of it, and you wouldn't know. And by the time you are probably transforming that data or using it to analyze or something, that space will be added to the analysis. Maybe instead of Power BI taking this as a number now, it will be taking it as a string because it has a space in it. So those are where these things come handy. You can trim this your set, meaning it removes anything that is space. It takes it off it. So those are what trim and clean does, and add prefix, add. So all of these things, just play around it and do all of that. So we've done formatting. Now let's do merging. We can also merge. I mean, if I click on this colon now, if I click on this colon, and this colon, I can merge these columns together. So let's assume now I want a full name. Let me just use this two. No, let me change this one first to capitalize each word. So we have something like Mr. Mrs. Now I want to match these two together. Like I want them to be full name, you know, Mr. John, Young, and all of that. So you just come to match columns. So the moment you come to match columns, now it will ask me that, how do I want to match them? What do you want to be the separator? Is it colon? Is it comma? Is it all of these things? So I just want it to be space, you know. Then what is the name of the new colon? So I can call it full name, for instance, full name. So and I click on OK. Now we have full name. Now, what happened? Okay, well, you might not find it easily to notice that something happened. But if you check, we don't have our first name again. We don't have our last name again. Do we?
No.
Do we? No, they disappeared.
No. Yeah.
And that's not what we want. What we wanted was that first name should be, what we wanted was that we just want a new colon, right? That says full name. We still want to keep the first and last name. So that takes me to the second layout that I need to explain. Now, if you check this transform and if you check this add colon, you will notice that a lot of things that we have a lot of things in common. For instance, under this transform, we have exactly what you have for text colon, you have it in add colon as well. Exactly what you have in number colon, you have it here as well. So that takes us to the difference that we need to be you always make this mistake. Even those who are experts, they make this mistake. Trust me, you will always make the mistake. And what is the mistake? The mistake is that when you want to work on a colon, and you want that colon to give birth to another colon, you need to work on add colon section. Let me repeat again. When you work on a colon and you want that colon to give birth to another colon, whatever you are going to do, whatever transformation you are going to do for that colon should be done under this add colon. If you do it under this place, what it like does is it changes that colon. It transforms that colon. So that means that colon will remain the same. And that was exactly what happened when we tried to merge these two together. So because I was doing it under transform, what it did literally was it transformed these two, it turned them into one. But if I wanted that full name to be somewhere separate, why are we having this as our first this thing? Let me change it again. It should be our first.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So if we actually wanted this full name to be separate, then we need to work under of this add colon. Yet it's still going to be the same thing, the same operation, but under this colon. Please, you have to note that it's very important. Everyone falls into that because you have to do a lot of things on your data and you're already carried away. You just came up and you just start, adding, and so if you make the mistake, it's no problem. You can always go back to what you had before. So I'm just calling your attention to that. So once I click on this again, because I'm under add colon, I click on this and I try to merge. You can see that what it does is still the same thing. I'm using a space and I'm calling it full name. What do I have? I had it create a new tab. You can see here, you can see under the step that said insert match colon. So if I go here, you can see that new colon has been added. You can get the difference now between transform and add colon section. I think that should be clear. So for any operation you want to transform to do under them, that is literally what it means. The first one we transform that colon. The second one we had a new column. As you can see, we have John D. So this was.
So when it's had a new column, will it still have that. Can you scroll to the last slide?
Yes,
oh, okay.
We still have them. We still have them. So that's that. So the second thing, operation I want to show you, we can use this extract operation. Don't forget, we can also have it here as well. So whatever you do depends on, what to do. But for now, I think let us just use this add colon. So if I come to this, let's play around this email address, for instance. Let's assume I want to extract email. See, literally all these things are what you can do on Excel. So for those of us that have used Excel before, it's probably not a problem. Understanding some of these things or hearing them for the first time, it's not a problem. So, all right. So let's assume I want to extract, this is an email address and I want to extract only the first name, or only the first, the username. The username usually comes before the at whatever.com. So I want to extract the username. Now, if I say, okay, extract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I say extract the first 5 characters here, if it does it here, are we still going to get the same result?
No,
because this one has more than 5. So literally what we need to do is we need to set a standard. We need to set a delimiter. So if I click on this colon and I click on extract, and now we can decide what we want to extract. So if I say extract, that first example that I said, let me close that again. Where is it? Where is the email address? So if I click on extract length, what it literally does is it extracted everything out again. I mean, it calculates the number of strings that we have and it populated it out. That's what this does. Now, if I want the first characters, so if I click on this, you can decide how many characters you want. So if I say, yeah, I want 5 now, because of looking at the first 5, I feel, okay, I can get that 5. If you realize that you will not get the same thing for others. So those are just the options, depending on what you want. All these things depend on what you want, the result you want. So what we can do here is we can also, go on range. Maybe you want it between this so and so. So, but the best thing is probably go text before delimiter in this case. So the delimiter here will be at. When you say delimiter is more like something that aids separation. It can be colon, it can be comma, it can be, I explained this earlier during the class. So text before delimiter. So I can click on it and it will ask me, what is the delimiter? What is that delimiter in this thing? And the delimiter here will be what? At. So if you want advanced options, you can sort all of these things out. Where do you want it to start from? Is it from the front or from the whatever? So we don't need this now. Let's just go with add. And I click on OK. So what happens is it creates John. You can see it creates all the username out. Irrespective of the number of characters, it went before at and it what? Let me bring them side by side so that you can see. So you can see that John 21, this is the username, this and that. Exactly how it works. Then if I need to, let's assume I need the domain name, for instance, when you talk of domain, like the work address now, because this is like, all these are work email. So I just need this adventureworks.com, for instance. So if I need to extract that, I can extract and I can say text between 2 delimiters because we have 2 delimiters. The first one is at. Who can tell me the second one?
The work domain.
Yes, we want to extract
the dash.
The dot.
The dot.
Okay.
The dot. We want to extract between adventure work. Adventure works is the domain. When you talk of a domain from the email address or something, Gmail, for instance, gmail.com, Gmail is the domain where whatever thing is hosted or whatever. We are not doing web anyway. So, but in this case, this is what we want to do. So end delimiter is dots, and you realize that what we get is what? We have everything between that at and dot. So these are just how we can work with some of these tools. I'm going to be taking them off. You can always practice that. Again, this is not something you have to do on all the data. It's requirements. One thing about data generally, not just Power BI, any data platform, anything, it works on requirements. You get a requirement, you know what you need to do, you know who you are reporting to, your end users, and you try to fulfill that requirement. So that's how it was. So another thing we can look out for now is, I think you can always explore this colon, all these options that you have there, index colon. This is also another feature. I think I'll cover that later when we do conditional conditional formatting and all of that. So let me skip it for now. So let's go to number specific tools. So number specific tools, now if you look at this, if I click on this email address now, for instance, you can see that I can't do anything on number. Everything is, please, if you can try to reciprocate what I'm doing, it will be really interesting. It will really be interesting. So if you click on this email address colon now, you can see that I can't do anything on number. The reason is because these are not numbers. But if I click on something like this, because it is a number colon, I can do some things on numbers. So these are just some of the things you probably need to know, that it is flexible, it responds based on the type of data you're working on and all of that. So let's check out number specific tools. So the first one here, we can perform statistics, like I said, and usually this statistics is usually a transformation. Look at it, under add colon, I cannot over on statistics. But if I go to transform, I can choose statistics. Why? Because statistics is something, it doesn't hard colon. The statistics you perform here will only transform. For instance, I want to find the average of all these numbers that are here. If I click on this column and I click on average, what it's going to produce is going to produce only one value, and this is the value. It's going to take off all of the data. It's going to take off all of the data. So that is why you don't have it under add column. Rather, you have it under transform, because it's something that will transform. Again, you can just close it out, go back to the menu. So that's why we have statistics working under transform, but it's not working under add column. You understand? So, and of course, there are so many things, other things. You can find the minimum of the numbers here, maximum, you can count them, all of these things, you can do them. Then I want to talk more on the standard ones. You can find the standard on both. You can find on transform, you can find on add column. Of course, you know what add column and transform, you know what they do. So under standard, for instance, if I come here under add column and I click on add. So let's assume I want to add a number to all these values that are here. So let's assume I want to add, let me add something that will be so obvious. Let me say 1 million. Is that correct? Yeah. So if I had 1 million, what it literally does is, who can tell me what this will do?
It will add the zeros, right? And the number.
It will add the number. What will that happen?
And it will take it to the last column, because
last column.
Yes.
Because I'm doing it under add column. That's right. So once I click on OK, it creates a new column and it adds 1 million to all of the numbers. So that's it. So same thing goes for multiplication, division, blah, 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 blah. Modulus. Modulus is like you are trying to find like something like close to an own number. What am I saying? Modulus is taking off, I think. Well, you can always go and check that. Yeah, God bless you. Remember, so after dividing, what remains, maybe 5/2, for instance, is 2, remainder 1. So it brings up 1, when you take the modulus of that. All of these things, they are just those tools you can use. Percentage, if you want a percentage of blah, blah, blah. So also you can do scientific stuff, can do all of the logarithm of it and all of that. So what I want us to do, we've done average, have we done max? So let's say this column, I want to find the maximum number. Okay, let's go to it should be, max should be, hold on a second. Aha, max is under, now look at it, under this one, add column. Under add column, we did not have max. Can you see? Under max column, under add column, we don't have, because when you are finding the maximum of a range, what are you going to get as a result? It's just a value now, Abi?
Yeah.
So we don't have that feature under add column. So we can only have it under transform, because as soon as we apply it, we are only going to get one value, which is 219. So this is like the maximum value. So just need to understand. You see, I even got lost in a moment. So these tools are really interesting to use, and you have to be very careful about them. So when you're working, but it's not a problem. Whenever you make the mistake, or you can always take it off here. Okay, so let's try to do, we've done max. Now let's do rounding. Let's assume you want to round up or round down. So I'm sure we all know all of these things. So let's assume we want to round down to significant figure, blah, 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 like that. You can do that as well. Then another thing is you can multiply. I think I showed us multiplication. You can, multiply a value to it. All of this is you can test them out. You can do it all by yourself. Just do something, let it add to a new column and go and rename that new column. Yeah, about renaming column, it's very easy as well. Let's assume I created this column, for example, that I created full name. Let's assume I did not rename immediately. You can just click on it here and right click on it and come down to rename. Just rename it to something like username.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so the question is, on this page 1, what if I want to make my necessary changes on page 2? I copy this data and paste on the page 2, make the necessary transformation. So when I close and apply, will the changes affect page 1? I'm not working on page 1 now, right? I have already copied this data and pasted on page 2. So I make all the changes and then close and apply. Nothing happens to the page 1, right? Just the page 2 that will be affected.
Bring your question from the beginning. I missed it.
Okay. Now, for instance, we are working on this page 1. If you click down there, there's an option of creating another page. That's working on that page. So I'm asking, if I copy, I don't want to make any changes on this page 1. I don't want to transform my data on page 1. I want to do it on page 2 so that I can have, it's very easy for me to read and understand, right? So once I apply all the like these changes you're making, uppercase, lowercase, and all that. Now, when these applied steps, right, happen on page 2, when I close and apply, that's when I save. Nothing happens to the page 1, to the data, the original data on page 1, right? It's just that of page 2.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
exactly.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Just to buttress on it.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So just to buttress on it too. So that also comes to when you put it in different pages, you are able to use it in relationship when you want to finalize your output.
Okay.
You have different pages. You can choose which page you want to draw the relationship with.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Sorry, if I understand correctly regarding the page you are asking, since we are using queries, shouldn't it be like you save this separately and then open another query? For instance, if you look at the left side, it has a bank list, customers. So like you can save another one and then have it separately and then you can work on it. Or what do you mean by pages? Something like having a different sheets for Excel, right?
I think she meant.
Okay, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I was saying that this. If you look down, this is he's working on the page 1 sheet now. Yes. So yes, where the cursor is ahead, the page 2.
No. This page is for the report. If you look at it now, my main Power BI is different from my editor menu.
Okay.
So this page 1 is not related to the Power Query.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I was thinking to like duplicating. Maybe I should have used duplicating the page. So I can't duplicate that page to work on it. That's what it means.
No, it's not a page.
It's not a page.
The sheet.
It contains data.
So yeah, I was thinking now, like all these changes, so it's not possible to, because I just want that page, this sheet, this particular, I don't want to use page because it's confusing. So it's not like we're doing the dashboard thing. But I'm talking about the sheet itself, the table itself now.
What you can do is you can bring in the data, because what we're actually doing is we are modifying this data. You understand? So you can bring in duplicate of it, probably rename it. You understand? Then you can have it somewhere. That was what I understood the question. Maybe you want to have it stored, maybe just for reference or something. Yeah, you can do it like that. Then, but anyone which you work with in this place, the moment you close and apply, it remains with that data alone. So when you open it again and all of that, all of these steps that you've performed will remain there. It's just like, you see all these apply steps, they are in what's it called, Excel as well. Those are probably when you are using macro, then you have access to seeing some of them and all of that. So it's just like what you do, how it is stored, and all. So it's not that explanation. It's just for you to know.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's for number. You can always play around it. I mean, just try to create and see, explore new stuff yourself. And the next one is the date. The date colon. We've talked about text, we've talked about number. Now the date. Now, if I click on this, it's not activated. Why? Who can tell me why? Who can tell me why?
It's a number, it's not a date.
Under
Yeah,
numbers.
exactly. So if I come to somewhere like birth date, I have this. Of course, not all of them still coming up again because I am under transform. If I go to add colon and I click on this, still the same thing. I don't have time. I don't have duration because what I have here is date only, not time. So, so what you want to do again depends. If you click on display, all of these things you have here, if you come here, you might not have all of them. You can see we have earliest and latest, they are gone. Okay, so let me start with those. So if we come under transform, while we have earliest and lowest, it's going to give us one value. So if you check out of all of these data set and it will tell you what is the earliest date there, and it will come up with a value, 1910. So that's why it's under just transform. You can find that only under transform. So the same thing works for latest date, only produce one value. Then if you probably want to work on year as well, if you click on year now, for instance, and I say start of the year, it will also, you can see it changes all of them to like the start of that year. So it maintains the year. It just changes the date. Instead of, if you look at what we have here now, instead of 4th of I don't know, probably the first one is month. Okay, I think the first one is month. So instead of 8th of April 1966, the moment I do this, it's going to transform that data to start of the year. So you just have January 1, 1966. So the year will still remain the same, but the dates will change to the start of the year. The same thing you can have for month as well, start of the month. It's instead of 8th of April, it becomes 1st. These things are very, very easy to understand. You have a lot of them here, so you can just play around them. I don't think we have quarters here. So it might bring it to calculate the first quarter in this year, bring up the first quarter in case you're asking for the start of it. Just play around it and see the result for yourself. So just for you to know, these are dates colon under transform. Then if I go under add new column, you can see we have new stuffs here as well. So like this one, you can click, you can see instead of transforming now, if I go to year, start of the year, instead of transforming everything, it will produce it. It's still the same result, but it's just like adding a new column for me. So that's that. What else can we do there? Let me see. We can work on start of the week, start of the month, and all of these things. So we can actually also work on M code. I decided not to even talk about M code today. In fact, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to start something I cannot finish. So, but M code is literally what is used to code this query. You can also code yourself. I mean, you can work on it. It's not very difficult, but sometimes it comes in handy when you need to do some stuffs that are really amazing and you want some kind of flexibility with what you are doing. But it's important to understand the basics first, and that's why I will not even talk about it at all. But those of us that probably have experience with programming, one thing or the other, you might find it really handy and find it interesting to use. Maybe towards the end, I can talk about it, and that'll be all. So I think we've really done a whole lot today, and we need to stop right now. It's really been an amazing time with everyone, and I really hope we learned one thing or the other. There won't be an assignment per se as at this time. I mean, because the point where we probably might have to do stuffs that are a bit technical and we've not gotten there because of time. I understand it's the first time, so it happens like that. So, but I'm sure by the next class we'll definitely have assignments. Nevertheless, if I come up with anything that I feel might challenge you based on what we've learned so far, can always communicate it to Mr. Funshaw, and we will always pass it across so that you can get it done by next week. that being said, in case I'm not able to do that, just try to play around all of these things with the data set that you have. Try to do some of these operations, try to add column, try to perform statistics and see the result for yourself. And it may helps you understand better what all of these tools are all about. And if you can check out others as well that you think you can just try to play around, you can do something really interesting. So that is all for today. And next week, we'll be looking at conditional columns, grouping, pivoting, and all of that. Those are where we have really much more interesting stuff. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So thank you for your time and do have a great week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole idea of this is not to overweigh you. That's why I decided to let us stop here. So we cannot learn everything in 1 week for sure. And just like you said, we're first of all, even before seeing what I need to say. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that you came into class, even with a very short notice. And like I said earlier, I'm more than impressed with your zeal and how fast you've grasped this. And I'm really looking forward to a really big future with you and with the rest of the class. So that being said, the whole idea is not to overload you today, but what we've done and with the set of data you have, let's use a scenario where a child goes to learn how to play with the sand. So right now, at your leisure time, go through it, play with it, do as you want, just flex around with it. That's how you learn better. And I'll be sending some other materials too that can assist you in understanding the Power Query and how to manipulate all of this data. You will never exhaust how to do it. So don't stress. Whatever you can do, just keep playing with it. And next week we'll move on and we'll definitely get to visualization next week as well. So, and thank you for appreciating our guest speaker. And so from me, that's all for today. If you have any questions, please let me know now. But even if after the class you have any question, you can use the WhatsApp, you can reach me via email, and we will definitely pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Femi. I want to find out, is it going to be same time next week? The same class?
Yes, same time, so that we
Okay.
kind of keep a synergy with the whole thing instead of changing and changing. So you get familiar with that timing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And if there are no questions, I wish everybody a lovely Sunday evening. Enjoy the rest of the day wherever you are, North America, Europe, Africa. And thank you so much for showing up in class today. The recording would be available. I will put it up on YouTube. And as we did last time, I'll share the link with everybody so you can always go over it again.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So thank you so much for today. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye.
Okay, Femi. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.